What's up, everybody? Welcome to Enlightened Masculinity. I'm Yogi Chris, your host, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, captain of IMC Nation. We're streaming to TikTok accounts, we're streaming to YouTube accounts, Facebook accounts. We got the multi-stream platform. We got live audience on Zoom. So it's going out there. It's on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, and all that stuff. So show some love, hit the like, leave a comment, whatever, follow, whatever you're doing, wherever platform you're on, do that thing. This episode, I'm talking about how women benefit from the man learning game. And this is a very interesting topic. I think it's relatable for anybody studying game. And I'd like to hear from the live audience how you think. Go ahead, because I'm long-winded. So it's going to take me like 2 minutes to get to the point. So in the meantime, before I get to the point, type out, how do you think game, a man learning game, the pickup arts, game, seduction, when we say he's got game, a man learning game, how does a woman benefit from a man learning game? Go ahead and write that out while I get to my point, because that's what the podcast is about. So back in the day, rewind 10 years or whatever, or at some point back in time. So I was wrestler. I wanted to be national champion wrestler, Olympic wrestler. I was at Division I university wrestling, chasing my dream. And to cope with the hunger pains of cutting weight and training all the time. And I was a straight edge kid. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. So I'm 18 years old and I'm cutting hella weight to compete. And I pick up a guitar because I was inspired by a wrestling documentary that had like a guitar song on it that I was like, it conjured up all those good feelings of like motivation to train, to compete, the pursuit of championship. Like it just encapsulated that. It was Leonard Skinner's Simple Man. Be a simple, like it was great. So I wanted to learn that song. So I get a pawn shop guitar. Uncle buys it for me, and I learn. And I teach myself. I ask for some help from people that, I'm in the dorms, the athletic dorms, but there's some guys that knew how to play guitar. So I ask for some help. And fast forward a couple years as I'm training wrestling at OU, the guitar was like my solace. It was my sanctuary. Like when my body's aching and I'm cutting weight, I can't really do shit. Like what am I going to do? I can't eat. I can't drink. I can't enjoy life. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I got better at guitar. Later, wrestling is over and I go way into guitar and I do all the psychedelics. I do the drugs and I try to play with bandmates. At some point I have 11 guitars. They're real nice guitars. I have all this equipment, amplifiers, and all kinds of things. And I'm like a one-man band. I'm playing the bass. I'm playing the synth. I'm playing the guitar. I'm looping it all together. I'm like going into it. I'm tripping out on the stuff. And I get a master's degree. I finished wrestling. I finished my bachelor's degree. I'm done wrestling. I had kind of a falling out with wrestling, so I wasn't like coaching or anything. I finished after 4 years. And I had a 5th year, but I didn't come back for that last year. And I finished the bachelor's and I'm finished the master's now. And, I got to do something with my life. And I discovered yoga around that time. And so I'm coming off all these psychedelics and my mind is all wrapped up with all the scholastic learnings and bullshit that I don't really need to know, but like advanced mathematics and statistics and computer programming and shit that I probably would need to know if I was going to like go be that industrial engineer or whatever I was training to be. But I wasn't going to be that. And I had found a new passion for some other scholastic, and it was environmental sciences. And that's what I went my PhD in. Meanwhile, I have this guitar skill set that I'm not doing anything with. And I was getting impeccable. I was playing some real good pieces, like the shit, the bee's knees, like at guitar. And so I go to, and it changes over time, but I go to Florida and I'm perfecting this guitar thing and I'm getting better at yoga and I'm using these things to kind of get my mind off of drugs. I wean myself off of drugs. And at some point, and I've told this story many times, I go to Italy and I meet some girls that I like, and I see their attraction just dissipate as I talk to them. And I have to face the fact that I don't know how to talk to these girls, even though they spoke English. Like they were attracted to my body, but not whatever I had else going on. So I go back to my dorm, whatever, in Italy, and I'm looking on YouTube. And that's when I first discover AZD, but I was looking for other things. And it came across Arashdi Bazaar, didn't really stick with it, found some other things called pickup artists. And I remember from middle school days, back on VH1, the pickup artists. I remember that. And I was like, oh, these pickup guys. So I watched some stuff, and long story short, I find that I was searching for the skills to get the women that I wanted. I was always seeking that as long as my balls dropped and my fucking puberty happened. Like, I remember all the way back to whatever age it must have been, like 12, 13, like my game. I had trying game. You know, I was trying to get girls. I was trying to get the girls, and like I was failing. I didn't know. I didn't have the software. I didn't know how to communicate, how to entice her, how to attract her, how to be comfortable with her, how to even just be friends with her. I didn't have any understanding of her condition as a woman living, being born on this planet, growing up. Like, what's that like? And this is later when I'm going to get to, you know, what's that value? Skill. So I'll tell it to you now. I see there's some comments. Skill is not about what you have on paper. Like listening is a skill. There you go. There you go. That's related. So what I was just saying, like I had no understanding of the female's experience on this planet growing up. Game has given me a lot of understanding of the female's experience, both by interacting with so many females, getting into relationships, longer term relationships. You get to know more and more and more what's going on. And with lots of different women, it's you start to piece together, fuck, this is a fucked up situation on this planet. But then also the studying of game, you learn about female psychology and what she's gone through and what is, you know, triggering attraction in her or triggering that desire to want to mate with a man and mate up like for long term with a man comes from all these historical reasons for her, why her biology, her body went through these experiences, that the solution was the man. And, you know, that gave me a lot of understanding of my own urges and impulses and a lot of understanding of her urges and impulses. And that is lacking for her in this life. She doesn't have a man, even her father, that understands her, even her mother, because the women don't understand what's going on with themselves. They're as attached to their mind as most normie sheepleton. So when they have emotions, they're just being emotional. They're not having this existential, you know, perception or perspective that their body is going through an emotion and they're observing it and they don't have to react on it. You know, maybe some more evolved monk-like women or whatever, but you know, it's real rare. And I don't see it actually. I'm only just saying that literally as like possibly. I haven't met women like that. More or less, some women are more or less capable of having emotional awareness. And when you teach it to them, they can get it just like anybody. But have I come across? No, I don't come across women that are like that when I first meet them. And so one of the primary things that benefits a woman by her man knowing game is that he has an understanding of her, what she's going through, what her signals mean, what her body language means. When she's being so indirect, because she's almost always being indirect. She's almost never saying, if you left her own devices, she's never saying exactly what she means. If you question her a little bit, you don't have to like interrogate her, but just like have conversation and coax out the right statements from her, and you'll get what she's trying to say. And you'll be like, why didn't you just say that? And it's so much, it's just ridiculous. You basically have to talk for her. And it's like, I'm not going with bimbos and dumbasses like college degrees, speaking multiple languages, held down jobs. I mean, they're just as smart as any other adult. I can't speak for them being geniuses, but they're, you know, I wouldn't even be attracted to a woman. I don't even know what a woman genius is. Like, she looks like a man. She's wearing like a pocket protector. I was in academia for 12 years. I saw PhD intelligent women like they're losers. Or there'll be some that are actually pretty and they've used their sexuality to just like get their PhD and get a faculty position, and they have something on something. They studied something, but that doesn't make them really intelligent. That just makes them studied on something. So women are lacking a man who understands them, what they're going through and what they're really trying to say. And so she's going through her whole life never being heard. Just never being heard. It's so dissatisfying. Like imagine you were playing an instrument, going back to music analogy, and you're playing an instrument and somebody's like off beat or they're off rhythm or they're off tune just a little bit. Let's say you're always playing with people and they're always off tune, and you just get used to people being off tune. You don't even know what on tune sounds like anymore. You know what you sound like when you're in tune with yourself, maybe, but it's really, if you've ever played instruments, it's really hard to tune your own instrument when you're jamming with people and their instruments are out of tune. You got to really isolate the sound of your instrument and then, you know, harmonize it with its own self. However you tune your instrument, like on a guitar, you would tune strings to each other, or if you have a perfect pitch of like what an E or an A is, but then that's tricky to hold that perfect pitch while other people are off tune. Like maybe some very, very advanced musicians could do that, or some autistic people, but that's rare. You know, that's very difficult. And if you were all your life playing with people that were out of tune, you wouldn't even know it. And when you finally come into it, it's like, oh, now that's what the woman is going through life. And none of the guys and none of the girls are in tune. They're not hearing her. They don't know what she's really meaning. The girls actually know more what she's meaning than not, but more than the guys. But when it comes to those difficult subjects that are difficult to be honest on, like relationships, man, they're lacking so much awareness that even when she gets what the other girl is saying, they just get each other emotionally. They get what the other girl is feeling. They don't understand, like, they don't have a philosophy. They don't understand. Men don't have a philosophy either. I'm getting on women. Like, people don't have a philosophy of game, of relationships, of male-female psychology. And if questioned, and some of them may have some ideas about it, like, it's going to be flimsy. They haven't really thought it out. And they definitely don't have a high-level game of it. So when it comes to like relationship issues and girls like confiding in each other, it's not like they know what to do. They had advice, from mom or gossip or their friends or something, or their own personal experience. God forbid it. They failed 100 times. God forbid it's 100 times. They failed. They've failed. At the best case scenario, they're married and she's miserable. She's running all over that guy. She's miserable. She's got wandering eyes, roaming eyes. You know, in a rare instance, she's in love like for the first 3 months or year of the marriage, maybe. Depends if she's with a really alpha guy, but she'll eventually just like defeat him. It's mind-blowing, really, when you look out at the culture. It just doesn't go any other way. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Too many people, too many sample size. The sample size is too big for it to be like nobody in my consciousness of the man staying alpha, staying lead, staying, and how you know that he still leads his friends. He still has friends. He still keeps his friends. He still grows and expands his business, but also his friendships and his demeanor. He doesn't become feminine in his tonalities and his communications. He's not indirect. He could be direct. He could be indirect when he's, doing that. What's up?
That's me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up?
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil, the demon of seduction and mind control himself.
Not even close.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how are we gonna do that? Graduate.
Well, gone. I mean,
it's got to be truthful and see what happens. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try it as an experiment.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Who's this?
This is Enlightened Masculinity Audience, TikToks, and then, streaming to different YouTubes and whatever. Couple guys there.
Good. Listen to this guy. He knows a lot. I'm gonna go see my parents.
Right on.
And then I'm gonna go see Gold, then I'll be back at 10:30.
Okay. I'll have a girl a little bit, and then
You have a girl here coming?
she's coming, but I got a lot of work to do, so it's just sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we got Friday coming up. Okay.
Yep.
Walk the lecture out.
All right. So what I'm saying, guys, is when I learned game, I realized that everything else I had been learning in life was to get girls. That I wasn't admitting that, or I didn't have that I didn't have that awareness with wrestling, but that's why I was trying to be a champion wrestler and world renowned and Olympics and everything. I maybe liked the martial arts. I am a guy. I like the fighting and the whatever, but I think there's a biologic reason why I like that. But on the cultural side of things, consciously, I'm trying to be the best at something so I could get girls, because that's who gets girls is the best. Later, I was admitting it to myself that the guitar, even the PhD, but the PhD was more survival oriented, but like I had some career, but the guitar, I was trying to learn that to get the girl. Later, when I learned game, I found that all those skills, they played a role in that, but it was an indirect route to that same thing that I was going towards. Game was the direct route, the music and the wrestling and even a career, like the PhD for the career. Upon deeper inspection, the career, income, what's the outlook? What's my income earning potential? Like all of that. What am I going to do with my life? What kind of car, what house, where am I going to live? Like all of that. What about the women? What about the woman? Whatever your belief system is around that. Like there's, that's what a guy is thinking for sure. He's thinking with his dick. He wants sex, whether it's a lot, and it is. If he's honest, he's saying, I want a lot and I want it now, And so all that shit that you're learning, the guitar and whatever, your music, your athleticism, your bodybuilding, your job, outlook, career, you're doing that to learn to get the results of game. Game is the only thing that actually gets you that. Those other things might get you that indirectly as a default of her genetic code that she's attracted to survival. And you may have other unconscious game skills, like you might be tall, you might be handsome, you have a fashion sense, you might have a good body. Like that is, part of the game. It's so indirect. Like it'd be like if I make a lot of money and I have a Bugatti, you'd be a fucking retard if you didn't get girls. Jesus Christ. But that's not game. That's like putting a pile of meat in the middle of the savannah and lions come and then you shoot them. That's not hunting. That's not hunting. That's shooting an animal. And yeah, I guess you baited it with a bunch of meat, but you're taking advantage of them being stupid and hungry. So you're taking advantage of women just being so brainwashed and wanting a Bugatti as if that's going to improve her life experience at all. She'll some fastness. Oh, it's quality. Okay, great. Like, did you evolve at all? Did you just have some sensory experience? That's it. You just had some sensory experience. And, oh man, how did you grow? Now, maybe there's some growth in that. You see some finer things in life and it inspires you. You see the artistry and the human intelligence put into, okay, like that on that level of things. That's great. I love Bugattis. I'm just making a case for it's not hunting to throw a bunch of bait right there. And as the animal comes by because it's hungry, you're hiding and you shoot it. And it's like, okay, you put a Bugatti and $50,000 in front of a chick and you get a stripper. And it's like, okay, that's not game though. Game, it's like have what the common man has materialistically, but in your intelligence, in your sense of fashion, in your tonality, in the ideas, your imagination, what you communicate, your ambition, your certainty, your confidence as you move in your movement and your speech, like elements of game. And of course, game, understanding her experience, if she's fine, if she's young, if she's older, if she's a mom, if she's got a bunch of older brothers, if she's born and raised liberal, but maybe she's not liberal at heart. Maybe she's born and raised feminist, but she's actually very submissive at heart. Like to see her nature and the chaos that she's going through as you confront her with your alpha masculinity, and she's like glitching, not knowing how to respond to it because it's like a guitar player going through bands, none of them in tune. And finally, she finds someone that's in tune and she feels like, you're out of tune, dude. And it's like, no, I'm in tune. You're out of tune because you've been playing with a bunch of out of tune men. You're not in tune with your femininity. You're out of tune. And she's convinced you're out of tune because, well, shit, now it's a one-on-one. Who's right? Here's where pre-selection comes in. Woman, I got other women that are in tune with me. You get it? You're not in tune with anybody. I at least have people in tune. Not only the women, I got a whole tribe of men I'm in tune with. Dang, I'm a whole orchestra. You're actually alone out there. You think you have friends, but they're all out of tune with you. Me, I got friends all over the world, but we're all in tune. Are you getting it? This is IMC Nation. I was in Florida. Arash was in California. We were in tune. I moved here, created base one. He moved in. Everybody moved in. Move. He got his parents to buy him a base. Now we got a base that we own, and we have 5 bases. And 3 unofficial bases that'll come online as soon as they get an officer. And we've just bought another property. And it's going to expand. My vision, 300 bases. 300 bases worldwide. We're at 8 unofficially. 3 years ago, it was 1. Shit, I think like 2 years ago it was 1. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have commented, I may have missed that. So feel free to comment again, of course. This is Enlightened Masculinity Podcast. I'm Yogi Chris, streaming to YouTube. And, you know, this all goes up on Apple and Spotify and all that. So you can check out Enlightened Masculinity. I'm a student of AZD, for sure. And a colleague. I live with him. I run IMC Nation. I run IMC Base 1. Just 5 minutes ago, he was just around here and he said, you know, said something to me about the business. We're going to Los Angeles this Friday for Base 3. They're hosting a party with our model management company. We'll be going there. Us, a bunch of us base guys. One base leader from Base 2, and then the 4 of us that live at Base 1. The weekend after that, we have a gathering. That's Thanksgiving weekend. We have a gathering in San Jose with AZD. And monthly, we have these gatherings and these trainings. But what point of this episode is saying that I realized I needed to do my business and make money if I was going to have women. And that the best way to make money ethically, energetically, and in an attractive way to women is to make it on your own effort, to be an entrepreneur of some kind. Now, I wasn't at that level with engineering, and I didn't want to do that with engineering. It was so in your head, so behind a computer, so with numbers, and not particularly attractive as an activity, although being a successful entrepreneur in anything is attractive for itself. But That activity was not attractive. Yoga was attractive, but there wasn't much money in that. But I did this trade-off, not to mention my spiritual psychic experiences with yoga was very attractive to me. Like I wanted to pursue that. I was going to pursue that either way, if I made a business out of it or not. And I figured make a business out of it. It's very congruent and I'll become that yogi. And I need game also. The kind of game where you walk the streets and pick up girls by telling them how beautiful they are, or you look fine, who are you? Or I saw you walking the other way. I got to go this way to meet up with some friends. But a guy like me knows at least going to say hi to a girl like you. What's going on with you? Are you visiting? Are you from out of town? Or are you local? You know, like that direct pickup is going to ruin your reputation if you don't calibrate way back. You got to pull way back. And it's not really likely. I don't see guys that can pull way back. They're just direct. They just hit on girls. They're hitting on girls with so much interest. And that's how they're getting girls. And that's nerve-wracking. You wouldn't, as a girl, like really understand. Like that's what all the game coaches out there are. They're doing a lot of hitting on the girl. And they're missing the psychology that a woman does not want to be with a man that's hitting on other girls like that. There's a way to do it. Like if Hugh Hefner hit on a girl, it would be complimenting her, but it's not hitting on her. There's something different. There's a difference between compliment and hit on. There's ways to hit on a girl without even complimenting her. Just by your body language and how you're responding to her, it's obvious you are swooning over her. You're hitting on her. And then there's ways to compliment a woman by saying, you can tell her she's beautiful. You tell her you're so intelligent. Tell her I really appreciate that about you. And it's not hitting on her. At least not in the way that I'm talking about it. Like if I compliment my friend, my guy friend, am I hitting on him? Is it only hitting on her because she's a girl and I'm a guy? That does contextualize things, but I'm just saying that there's a way to compliment the person without hitting on them. But what guys are doing is they're hitting on them, everything they're doing. They're complimenting, they're trying to nag, they're trying to banter, they're trying to tease, they're trying to hold a comfortable conversation. Everything they're doing with the woman, if she's attractive, they are hitting on her. That's not game. That's not good game anyway. It's a game, I guess. It's better than the guy that's a wallflower, doesn't even talk to chicks. Fast forward that a few hundred years of evolution, and maybe that individual, if he could live 500 years and practice game, he still wouldn't get it because he needs a self-awareness practice. He needs meditation, he needs yoga, he needs fighting, he needs all sorts of things to tap into the spirit of seduction, what she is attracted to, what she is seduced by in the long term. How does a woman benefit from a man knowing how to seduce her day after day, month after month, year after year after year of being with her? Well, let's just look around at all the marriages that are failing. That he is not seducing her, that she's back-talking him, that he's not appreciating her, that she stopped trying to look good, that he's getting fatter and looking around, and she's looking around. And what else do I need to say? Those are your marriages. Those are your parents. Those are your friends. Those are marriages. You know what I'm saying? So it stands to reason that a woman is going to benefit from a man that's able to seduce her throughout the rest of her life. Well, there's a lot of extra benefits here, so I want to pause. Is there anything? We have live audience. We also have people here on TikTok. Let me see if you guys have any comments here. What's up? Sultan in the house. Maybe we'll ask Sultan. That's always a great episode. Sultan, he also lives here for the last 3.5 years with AZD. He messages all of you AZD_IMC TikTokers. So if you're messaging this account, you're messaging with Sultan. Okay, TikTok, no good comments. Okay, Sultan, quick question. How does a woman benefit from a man knowing game and being good at game? How does a woman benefit from a man being good at game, having a good game?
Well,
Let's see here.
well, the first thing is, you know, if a guy is like approaching a woman, interacting with her, you know, there's obviously a right way and a wrong way to approach a woman and begin the conversation. So, you know, it would be in his best interest and really her best interest for him to know that know how to approach, know how to interact, and know how to communicate with a woman, because a lot of guys, they go up and they're just kind of like leaving up to chance.
Well, why does she benefit? How does she benefit from a man having good game? What do you guys think? You can type it out. How can a woman have good game? I seriously lost my game and my self-esteem became low because, are you a girl? Oh yeah. How can a woman have good game? Well, your game. Okay. First, a better question is ask me what is game and what is game for a woman? Ask me that. Okay. Sultan. Yeah. How does a woman benefit from a man having good game? I can't believe AZ lets this guy run the show. He always answers my questions. This guy just tells you to buy a court. You can tell the skill gap. Well, of course there's a skill gap, but what's the point of you even commenting that? You're the one watching me. You're the kind of dude that bitches about what you're watching while you watch it. Just everybody process that for a second. What girls? What kind of guy is that? The guy that complains about what he's watching and keeps watching it. That's that dude. I can see the skill gap between me and you too, my friend. You should join. There's the pitch. You should sign up because you suck as a person. I wouldn't want to hang out with you. I watch for AZ. Well, why are you watching? You're still on. You're just not intelligent. I hope you're like not under 18. I feel bad if you're like 12 years old. Then I'm making fun of you. But seriously, quit commenting complaints or I'll block you. I'll just block you and then you won't get to watch AZD. Like, quit fucking around. Okay, Sultan.
Yeah, I see it. It's apparent, like, when a man and woman get into a relationship, because when you get into a relationship, it's not like you're in the relationship and then it's over, like you're good. It's not like you get to put the girl away inside like a little box and take her out whenever you want. So keeping the relationship going, it's like an active seduction when you're with a woman. So if a guy doesn't know how to do that, it's not going to be. It won't be very long until the girl loses interest in him, starts having eyes for other men, and is already planning like some sort of, you could say, exit strategy or a way out of the relationship. Already cheating on the guy. So that doesn't mean like the girl will never cheat, but I see the relationship as like a long-term seduction, and it never ends. So guys will like be really good at game, but then they'll get into a relationship. And the relationship will fail at some point because the guy just gave up. He gave up on no learning game. And then the question I could see you asking, well, how does the woman benefit from the guy keeping the relationship going?
How does the woman benefit from the guy keeping the relationship going?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking along those terms when you said that the woman benefits that she'll lose interest if he's not able to keep it going, keep the fire going.
Right.
And so I was going to ask, well, what is the benefit of keeping her interested? How she benefits by being interested? Is that it? She has interest in it?
No. No, she doesn't benefit from being interested in him, but I guess we're talking what kind of man are we talking about?
A man with good game. Well, how does a woman benefit from her man being good at game? Having good game. A woman benefits because she is being taught good lessons about life and to be safe from a man. I agree with that, if a man has good game.
Yeah, and I guess it's not even only good game, it's having high value. So if the guy
there, that's what I was, because what is game? So that's what I think Paula. Where'd she go? Wait, blah blah blah. What is game? Okay, yes. What is game? Sultan, what is game?
Game is. What was I asking before? What is game? To me, game is man, it's kind of vague though. Like, we're talking game, like we're talking men and women game, or we're talking.
Yeah, that's the man. Well, yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, well,
whatever comes to mind. What do you guys think is game? Comment that.
It's the understanding of the female, of female psychology, the female nature. A man having an understanding of it, and being able to seduce a woman that he's interested in. Without being needy, without demonstrating low value. And making her fall in love with him in some way.
Wow. Yeah, right on. Ty Novak, he knows how to be with women, foresight in life. It's a man with good game. Yeah. So, what would game be for a woman? Because Paula is asking.
What game be for a
What is
woman?
game?
Game for a woman is pretty fucking easy, man. If I was a woman, I would fuck everybody up. What if I was hot? I was attractive.
If you were hot, what
If
would
I
you
wasn't,
do?
then
What
I
would you do if you were hot?
If I was hot,
How
I
would you fuck everybody up?
Bro, I
Would
would
you fuck everybody?
I would not fuck everybody. Hell no.
You would not fuck everybody.
Fuck no. I'm looking for the number one. I'm looking for the number one golden dick. If I'm a woman.
Golden dick.
Yeah.
Dang.
So if I'm a woman, I would obviously my looks would be the most important thing. Like makeup would be 100. My makeup would be like on point.
So what is game for a woman?
Game for a woman is
Game for a woman is knowing how to keep a high value man. Ty Novak.
it's to keep the man around and fulfilling whatever he wants out of the relationship. And
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good definition for a girl, actually.
just fulfilling what he wants. And also, because I see her, like, she also has to kind of keep the fire going too in her own way.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect, and that would be a part of her game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now this is my podcast, so I'll give my answer. Game is your strategy of survival and replication. And survival kind of goes muted a little bit. We don't think about it too much. Like we just think career or, however you're going to make money. I include that in game because that's part of AZD's game. How you make your money is very important to your success with women. A lot of the guys that are all bitching and whining on TikTok over here on this TikTok, not that it's funny. Sultan, your TikTok always has the haters. Bible of Arash always has fans. What the fuck is going on over there? What the fuck is up with AZD underscore MC? You guys are shaming. You're shameful. The worst. Man. What do you think about women in the military? I don't. And I think when I do, it kind of puts a pain in my belly. I'm like, I wouldn't want my comrade in war being a woman. And what do you think about men with game, but not money? Well, they're lacking in that aspect of their game, and it's rare to find. And, but sometimes you'll have guys that grow up as ladies men, and they don't have any money. And eventually they won't have women either because, you can't stay in that condition too long like that. So yeah, your strategy of survival and replication, how you make your money is going to play a big role in your relationships. And even for women, how she makes her money. Imagine she's a stripper, an OnlyFans girl versus she's a waitress versus she's a fitness trainer versus she's your secretary. Like how she makes her money is going to play a big role in her relationship to her man. And, so I liked Ty's, how the woman keeps the high value man around. So how the man keeps the high value woman around, or really how he gets and keeps her around. And her can be singular, it can be plural. It's his choice, singular, plural, women, how he gets women, how he survives and replicates. And, in most alignment with the energetic field of life, in the, like Tesla would talk about, in the energetic field of life, is going to be that relationship between men and women that the child would survive, would grow up and be as good as could be, give him the best advantage so that the genes live on. That's what life wants. So even if you're not having kids with a woman, it's like, what kind of dynamic, what's the duration of the relationship, what's her emotional condition through that, and yours, are you growing, but you have the ability to spread your seed. And if you were a King Solomon or something, you had all the resources and you were wise and you had all of the help, the assistance and the protection, the generals and the army and the guard and everything, you could really provide that environment for the woman. And the woman had trusting friends and a whole court and the perfect education system and all the finest things in life. Like, why wouldn't that man have 100 wives? And now in modern life, men can provide that to whatever degree they can provide that. And the woman has to measure, well, what is my market value? What am I able to get with what I got to give? And women, what do you got to give? Women don't even know what they got to give. But this isn't really a podcast for women, but your looks isn't really what you have to give. It's related to, you have your womb. You have your womb to give. And outside of that, man, I mean, you have whatever any other human has to give: loyalty, compliance, obedience, making yourself useful and helpful. I think a woman as a female has the ability to give admiration, an appreciation, a looking up to me, and a love for me, really, that I wouldn't accept that from a man. I wouldn't, like, there's a way that she admires me that I'm like, man, I could only receive that from a woman. And I wouldn't want any of my friends to always be second to me, always be behind me, always be following. Like, I'd want friends that I could actually do that thing that women want, that they're like, he leads sometimes, I lead sometimes, he leads sometimes. Like, that's how I want my friends. I want my guy friends being he leads sometimes, I lead sometimes, like whatever. So, you know what I mean? But with the girl, I'm always in the lead. And I like her for that. I like this pretty soft, she's more feminine in every way that matters, looking up to me and following me. And it takes a lot of responsibility because you got to lead her a lot. And it's like, you'll have situations where it's like, I didn't expect you to need me to lead you at that. You should have been able to figure that out on your own. And then there'll be some upset where it's like, she didn't know how to do it. And then you expected her to do it a certain way. And then you didn't tell her how to do it. So she's like, whatever. And then you see the gaps and the lapses in your leadership. That's where the guys in the pickup, they know how to lead up to sex, but then they don't know how to lead a relationship. They don't know how to seduce. Ongoing. The code that's been cracked here is that the longest term seductions require that you get other women or be able to have other women. They're at your fingertips. And that's a really, I don't know that it's possible for you to have a bunch of women that you could get with, but you're not getting with if you haven't lived that life, because how would you know if you could really get with them? You're going to lack some skill. There's some in the follow through of getting with a woman and her going through all the hoops and the filters, and, you know, you get with a woman on your terms, and the more experience you get, the less you'll tolerate and put up with her behavior. And that's where it's like the guy, it was something that I think Ty said, it was like, I don't know, you just have standards, and the woman sees that you have standards, and that tells her that you have experience with women. And if you have experience with women, that means other women have chose you. And if other women have chose you, then you must have more going on than everything I'm able to see right now, because in the last 10 minutes of seeing you, I could only learn so much. But there's so much implied in how a man is being, about what kind of women he's with, how many women he's been with, how honest he is in his life. And a lot of people, like I said earlier in the episode, they don't even know, because everybody around them is out of tune. So they don't know what in tune sounds like. They don't even know. When they come across it, they think it's out of tune. But in IMC Nation, we've tuned with each other, and each man is tuned with his women. And so there's a nation that we're all in tune with each other, even though geographically we're not even in hearing distance. Whereas everybody else, they're not in tune with anybody. They're around a bunch of people. They're not in tune with anybody. Your family, your friends, you're not in tune. You might think you're in tune because you're in such a narrow bandwidth of experience. You're not even talking about the difficult things in life. None of you talk with your friends about relationships, about being with multiple women, about how you get girls. And if you do, it's real rudimentary and real childish and, you know, just fart jokes and shit. You don't know how to get girls. Immature. Okay, we got a bunch of comments coming in. Dang, Ty, you should be on class. Man, you got so much to say, man. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. Would you consider picking up girls at the bar, having game, but not keeping them around? If you get girls at the bar, I mean, everybody has some level of game. It's like, it's an absolute scale. So you can't have negative game. It's negative relative to somebody. We could have some new guy come out with us and it's like negative to us, but it's just negative relative to us. He has some level of game. If he's alive, like Richard Hawkins, whatever, his game is like 0.00001, but he does have a lot of fame in physics or whatever. So if he learned to leverage that 0.001, he could get some babes, you know, but he's dead, I think now. But, you know, everybody has some level of game up to some theoretical, let's say up to infinity. It's like temperature. There's a 0 and it's up to infinity. It's not 100%. It could be a billion trillion percent. From what I've seen, AZD has the best game on earth. And I'm a student, and I do all right for myself. I'm good with it. So picking up girls at the bar, they have some game. Yeah, everybody has some game. It's just, you know, expand that game. Play it out for the next 10 years. What does it result in? Make the guy super famous or successful where a lot of cameras are on him. What would they think about that game? Give the guy a super fine girlfriend. What does he do with his game then? How does his game change? Would she care about how he gets other girls? What's his level of honesty with these women? Do they know? How like, basically, if a little boy and a little girl were watching him in his game, not the sexual stuff, but like his game, how he got women, would they admire him? Or does he have to hide away from children and old people to do his isolated game where he gets chicks drunk and, who knows what he does? So it's like, I'm proud of how I get women because I don't do nefarious things. It's just straight character, entertaining conversation, understanding the mind and psychology, and just having an exciting life. Okay. You want your country destroyed, get as many women into your military as possible. There you go. There you go. That's true. I met Guerrero and he was really cool. El Duque. Right on, man. We're coming down to LA this weekend and we got a gathering. You should be on class, bro. Met him at a bar. I want to join IMC. That's what I'm saying. So just go to the bio. So now the bio, I think, has the camp right now, which is more expensive. But you would want Alpha Academy. So just DM and I'll get you on Alpha Academy. You could try it out for free. You don't have to join right away. Or join right away. If you already know. I already knew. When I found the stuff, I only needed a few free videos and I was like, I'm going to buy something. So it's like, if this is free, what's the paid stuff? And it was worth it. And here I am. Now I live with him and I run his business. So, but don't do it for that reason. Do it because you want to learn the best game on earth. That's all it is. Okay. So we got people watching on these YouTubes. I'm wrapping it up now, guys. So if you guys got comments, questions, this dude, are you still commenting? No, he's not commenting. Okay. All right. So we got multiple TikToks, you guys. I could make you face each other, but I'm not gonna. Okay. And then last but not least, let's see what's up here on Zoom. Got a couple comments. Yeah, courtship never ends. That's right. Okay. So what else is to be said? I basically started, this was how women benefit from game, from a man knowing game. How does a woman benefit? So much. I mean, the man understands her, can talk to her. He upgrades his character as he talks with other women. If he's in this game like the way we are, which most guys are not. Most guys aren't into game. The guys that are into game, most of them are not into IMC game. And IMC game is the cleanest, best game on earth. And so in this game, interacting with new women on whatever level, pickup, seduction, sexually, beyond, relationships, multiple relationships, interactions with women, you improve your character for the next woman. You keep improving for the next woman. Now, if a woman is with you, she becomes that next woman because every time you hang out with her, let's say every Monday or something, she's the next woman. Every Monday, she's that next woman. She keeps benefiting from your character upgrade. And character upgrade is not some arbitrary, ethereal, valueless thing. Character is the value. That's what makes celebrity connections. That's what makes attraction. That's what she's really attracted to. That's what people want to be around, that funny guy or that cool guy or that, witty guy or that skilled guy that keeps his cool, that fighter guy that's tough. It's character. It's the guy that keeps his composure in the tough sale, or the guy who has a soft touch when the child is injured or is bullied or something. It's the character, the father-like character, the cool character, the hip, the renegade, the bad boy, the prophet, the teacher, the coach, the mentor, the lover, the brother, the friend. All of these are characters. And she benefits from you upgrading your character. You're practicing becoming more attractive and seductive to women, so you're getting better, legitimately. Results are the proof. She benefits. She benefits from being with the best man. Her genes benefit in a way that she won't even realize how good she has it until she's gone. Then it won't take too long. She'll go back into being in tune with all of the out-of-tune people. She'll go out of tune just like all of them and join the ocean of out-of-tune folks, all the men and women in the world that are out of tune with their nature. That's fine. It'll feel miserable at first, and then she'll forget about it. She'll go back in the matrix. She'll blue pill. But for as long as she's red pilled, she'll have the bliss of being in harmony with someone who's not in harmony with the sheeple. She is actually a spirit. She becomes a spiritual being on a spiritual quest in a spiritual relationship with it, which is her purpose, to find the highest value man and nurture his seed and raise the next in this generation, all in relation with divinity. That's her relationship with God. God created her for that. That's the only thing she's created for. Men and women were created to procreate because we have no other skills in nature. We're intelligent, we're logical, but that's because of our ability to communicate. And that's because of mating. Our brains got bigger, not to build tools, because the brains got bigger hundreds of thousands of years before tools. The brains got, or we had like one tool and we had it for like 400,000 years. So why did the brain need to get so much bigger if we had the same fucking tool? It's because of communication. We developed language and memory around that language, images. And we only did that for mating. That's why our brains got big. Humans are humans for mating. And we don't want a bunch of retards mating. We want the smartest, strongest, most beautiful, most intelligent, most best everything. That's what ideally should be mating. And the best everything in the man form is the king. And the best everything in the woman form is the queen and every other woman that could be with the king and his generals. That's what it is. It's power and beauty. It's prestige. It's that rare thing. It's not rare because you're the dumbest and it's so rare to be that dumb. It's rare to be that smart. It's not rare that someone's so ugly. It's rare that someone's so beautiful. It's not rare. It's not on that end of things where it's like the fattest people mate because they're so rare. No, it's the rarest that the healthiest people mate. Not necessarily the skinniest or leanest, but the healthiest. Ideally, this would be the ideals. And the man being capable of spreading his seed so much that, I mean, I don't need to go into evolutionary psychology and be boring you people with that. I could. I'll leave you with this piece of information. Why is it? And you should sign up. Yes, just like the kind of weird guy that, I don't know if he's still on or not, but just like he said, you should sign up for the programs. Alpha Academy is the program. The link is in the description for the recordings on all the podcast platforms, and they're also in the bios for all of these streams on the YouTube and Facebook and TikToks and everything. So this is a little fact that 99% of sperm is not capable of impregnating the woman. Most sperm doesn't do that. It doesn't even swim up the track and go for the egg. It won't. That's not what it does. No matter how much sperm he produces, 99% of it, it's not going to do that. That's just not its function. Its function only, it sits there, it sits in her vagina, and it seeks out other sperm, other men's sperm, of not its genetic. It seeks out and destroys other men's sperm. You'd be like, why would there be two men's sperm in a woman's vagina? That's her nature. Her nature is when she's ovulating, if she's not with the strongest man that she could possibly be with, is to find another man to mate with her so that at least she has two men and the best will survive in her. And whoever she can keep around will take care of it, but the best genetics will survive to the next generation. Unless she's clearly with the alpha, then she won't do that. She won't do that. She won't cheat if she's with clearly the best choice. But if she's not clearly with the best choice for her in her perspective, then it's her biology to roam and have roaming eyes and have two men's sperm in her when she's ovulating, and the best sperm wins. And that's evidence because 99% of your sperm, just like in chimps, who also do this, sperm warfare, is just its only purpose is to destroy other men's sperm so that your sperm can win out and impregnate her. When you know that her program is to find another man, that's just the beginning. That's the beginning of the red pill. That's the beginning of the yellow brick road. That's one factoid. There's so much after that. But when her programming is doing that, you start perceiving when she's ovulating. You start perceiving any indications that she gives outwardly. You start perceiving any little disobedience or unloving behavior towards you as, this is sperm wars. This is you're not satisfied and you're valuing yourself higher than you just were, and you're valuing me lower than you just were, and now you think you have better options than me. It's getting closer to that. You have a better option than me, and she'll reason it in 1,000 ways. It's not another guy. It's just I'm going to leave, or I'm going to do something else, or whatever. She's going to do whatever that is to free herself up in the direction of getting different sperm. She doesn't even think that. She might think she's a spiritual being, and she is, but the biology's taken over. And as a game, you need to know that so that you don't get angry at her nature because she's not controlling it. You need to learn how to lead it, how to guide it, how to keep seducing it and bringing it back to the highest value man that's speaking right here on Enlightened Masculinity. Go to the links in the bio, in the description and everything. DM this account to join, participate. I'll see you all in the next episode every Wednesday. Right now, that's how it is. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Os, praise the Lord. J Guru Dev.